Hi folks, I bet you didn't think you'd see me again so soon. Aren't you privileged? Just kidding. The reason I'm back again is because last night I watched the entire Pete Hegseth speech, and let me tell you, it was worth every single second of it. And I can link to it here if you did not see it, the full speech. Oh goodness gracious, never works. I can link to that if you wish to see that. You can't find it. I feel like I have a stake in this, and I have a reason. I can comment on this. I have the right to comment. Of course, everybody has a right to comment, but most people don't know what they're talking about. First, that was the best speech ever. Ever. I was giving a standing ovation in my own living room. I am not kidding. I was clapping. I'm going, all right. Yeah, I'm with you, Pete. And the reason I have a right to comment more than a lot is because we were career military. My husband had over 25 years of service when he retired from active duty. He spent 5 years in the Air National Guard first. Before that, Civil Air Patrol, Air National Guard. Then he went active duty Air Force when 6 months after we got married. And he retired as a disabled veteran. Not retired because of being disabled, but he did have a disability. He still does. It's gotten worse over time because it's a degenerative condition. But he retired in the 90s after 25 years of service. He got out when, now this will tell you, wokeism, even though it wasn't called that back then, that word didn't exist. It's not really a word, but that expression didn't exist back in the 90s. But it was beginning to rear its ugly head, and I can tell you examples of it. He got out. He could have continued in the Air Force. He could have continued on for 5 more years or so, but he decided to go ahead and go. The reason is a lot of it had to do with the wokeism mindset filtering into the military in several ways. Okay, he started out in one shop. He did telemetry for the big Orion aircraft. First place we went was at Hill Air Force Base in Ogden, Utah, and he did munitions testing out at the Dugway Proving Grounds. Talk about a dangerous job. And, testing the shelf life of bombs. Once thing goes wrong, then there you go. But he started out with that, and then we were transferred to Dayton, Ohio, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And there he changed, he's still the same career field. They would call it MOS in the Army, I suppose. Still the same career field. But he maintained the telemetry on board the aircraft called the ARIA, A-R-I-A, Advanced Range Instrumentation Aircraft. It has a big bulbous nose and a big dish is in the nose. And so he maintained the telemetry on that airplane. That was where in May 1980 something, we lost 21 people in a training mission. And 3 of them were wives of the people on board. I've told Steve Smith this story, and I sent him my husband's Master Sergeant patch from a uniform because he was collecting memorabilia for his bulletin board or something. And I sent him a letter detailing what happened with the ARIA training mission. They call it 328. That was part of the tail number. But he started out in that shop, and doing but when we had about 2 years remaining, I'm trying to remember how this goes. This is a long time ago. 2 years remaining before we actually retired, and we didn't know we were going to retire then, but there was 2 years before we did retire. He was sent back to Hill Air Force Base in the same shop that he started in, and he was sent back as the NCO of that shop. So he was head of that shop, the same shop he started in. when he's in the beginning of his Air Force career. And managing the men, managing, the systems and everything. Well, apparently he had civilian contractors were coming in and out and touring the shop and, getting little lessons on how everything works and that kind of thing. And they would do that from time to time. Well, his crew of younger airmen, he said their language was atrocious. And he said it was vulgar and unprofessional. And when civilians started coming through, he gave them a little talking to. He said, you will conduct yourself in a professional manner, and your speech is going to stay professional. Not the stuff that you talk about, not the way you talk when everybody's alone, but when we have company, so to speak. He said, you will maintain a professional atmosphere. Stop the vulgarity. Well, do you know what? He got in trouble. I got a cough. Sorry. I'm going to have to go again. He got in trouble. He was called on the carpet and told that ghetto talk was their culture. And you couldn't tell him not to do that. This was in the early 1990s, people. The early 1990s. And he was disgusted then by the laxity creeping into the military. Even back at that point, he missed out on his last promotion. And let me tell you why. Well, apparently he was too military for the Air Force. He wasn't one of these hard asses, but he was efficient, and he was a rule follower, and he believed in the order of command. But he missed out on the promotion. You have to take a test to get promoted. And he missed out on some points in the test. And do you know what over? He didn't belong to the NCO club. He didn't support the NCO club. You know what the NCO club is, the Non-Commissioned Officers Club? It's a bar. It's a bar. He didn't drink. He had his family to get back to at night. He didn't believe in spending his off-duty hours drinking with the boys. They docked him for that. So here you go. Discrimination because of his Christian beliefs, in a way? Yeah, it was. But Pete Hegseth's speech, I would listen to that all over again, and I want you to listen to it if you have not. Take it in. Folks who have, I'm going to say something here, and you're going to get all offended. Folks who've never been in the military, never served, either in capacity as a spouse or a husband, or hasn't actually been in the thick of everything, in the atmosphere of it, and have back behind the scenes information for certain things. If you have any experience in the military, you've only seen it from the outside looking in, you need to sit down and shut up. And I'm serious. You have no clue. You have no clue. The military isn't here to stroke your ego or provide therapy for you. It's all about war readiness, period. It's about the strength, a show of strength, and having extremely talented and ready and able members to be put into any position the military wants to put them in. They don't have to just be in their own career field. They are, in the end, the Army's more the foot soldiers. But the Air Force guys can end up being foot soldiers. They had to be trained, they had to be physically fit, and they had to be trained in firearms and everything that everybody else was. They had to have the basic soldier training. So it's about war readiness. If you want peace, you have to be ready for war. That's the way the saying goes. The same rules for everybody, every member, same standards should be applied to all. Weak men and most women would never meet the standards. And command is not required to pet you on the head and tell you it's all going to be okay and make concessions for your shortcomings in your abilities. And you're not there so you can wear your little rainbow uniform for a security blanket. That's not how this works, Marbs. That's not how any of this works. It's not supposed to work like that until Biden got a hold of the military. Obama hated the military. Biden hated the military. He didn't give a crap. He thought they were his servants, and that was it. Literally, yes, he was commander-in-chief, as if he could even command a sippy cup. But all this the weakness. Weakness. You might as well say weakness. The weakness was being perpetuated and promulgated and encouraged in the military. I saw soldiers in shorts marching and singing a chant to Martin Luther King because their black female drill sergeant was leading it. I'm sorry, that's not what the military is for, y'all. It never has been. So I am here for everything Pete said. I believe in it wholeheartedly. I've been there. I've seen what weakness does to the military. And I have a suggestion for everybody. The powers that be, state and local authorities, let's extend those rules to the police departments. Because I've seen far too many morbidly obese cops, beat cops, not people behind a desk, but the people on the streets. Fat as all get out, belly hanging over their belt, women who are shaped like a square. Seriously, let's have the same standards for the cops that they do for the military as far as fitness goes, because you couldn't chase down anything. Every time a female cop gets in trouble, what happens? A male cop comes to save her butt. I'm sorry. Or a civilian, worse, a civilian jumps in to help her. I've seen that plenty of times. They recorded it. The dash cam recorded all this stuff. So we need the same rules as in the police departments for their fitness standards as we do in the military. We need those same standards, because your job is to be able to put down somebody who's coming against you. And if you can't do that, you need to just go run a daycare somewhere. So, yeah. Offensive speech? Oh no, this is just free speech, y'all. And it comes from a place of experience and a place of passion. As a military spouse for 25 years. Well, I don't think I wasn't with him at the very beginning of his Air National Guard career. I think I was there for the last 2 years. But anyway, I've been through it all with him. I've seen what it does to. I saw the politics creep into it really big time. But politics was ruining the military in the 90s. What do you think it's doing to it now? That's back when we were much more conservative. And we can't, and we're told it's their culture to speak ghetto. I mean, it brings shame on the military and the ethos. I guess what Pete calls the ethos. So, watch that speech. You think Trump makes good speeches? Wow. Pete may have the crown as of last night. So, I'll talk to y'all later. Comment if you were in the military and you have seen some of this stuff. And if you're not, well, it's not a crime not to have been in the military. But there are things that you should not necessarily speak of that you just really have no clue what's going on. A lot of it had to do with the Charlie Kirk thing, but we ain't talking about that today. We're talking about the military and military alone. And if you don't have a strong military, you cannot have a country. If you don't have strong borders, you cannot have a country. You have to have both. You have to have both. So, take care, everybody. It's going to be really cool. Right now, it's really foggy. It's so foggy that I couldn't let the kids out to the pasture area, the free range area, which is just a much larger fenced area. Now free range all over the property like my earlier flocks got to. A little safer to contain them back there. But they had to stay in the pen. It sounds like it's raining out there. It's just fog dripping. So y'all take care. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.